The day had finally come, the 10-year high school reunion. Everyone in the class remembered her as the quiet, awkward girl who never quite fit in, the one they had teased relentlessly. They called her the class loser, and now, full of bravado and nostalgia, they thought it would be hilarious to invite her just to laugh behind her back. But what they didn't know was that she had changed completely, as the chatter and laughter filled the decorated hall. The old classmates swapped stories about careers, marriages, and achievements. Some glanced at the entrance, wondering if she would even show up. Then, suddenly, the sound of rotors sliced through the calm evening air. Heads turned, eyes widened. The rumors about her life, her career, and her success couldn't have prepared them for what came next. A sleek helicopter descended just outside the reunion venue, the door opening to reveal her stepping out with confidence that stunned everyone. Gone was the shy, awkward girl they remembered. Now, she radiated power and elegance, every movement commanding attention. Whispers rippled through the crowd as old insecurities and regrets surfaced. No one could guess why she had arrived this way or what she planned to do next, and the room held its collective breath, waiting. As she walked toward the entrance, every step seemed deliberate, drawing the eyes of classmates who had once sneered at her. Her presence was magnetic, an aura of success and confidence that no one could ignore. Some recognized her immediately, struggling to reconcile the girl they had mocked with the woman now standing before them. Others whispered questions, wondering how she had managed such an unexpected entrance. Inside, the room was buzzing with excitement and unease. Old friends and former rivals exchanged nervous glances, suddenly unsure of how to act. She smiled faintly, scanning the familiar faces, her eyes sharp, as if reading every thought and memory. There was a story behind this transformation, one that no one had anticipated. 10 years of struggle, determination, and secret achievements had shaped her into someone unstoppable. She hadn't just survived, they thought they had defeated her, but she had built a life they couldn't even imagine. And now, standing on the threshold of her old high school life, she was ready to face them. Yet no one knew why she had chosen this dramatic entrance. Was it revenge, a lesson, or something entirely unexpected? The tension in the room grew, each heartbeat echoing the question everyone was dying to ask, but no one dared speak first. She stepped into the reunion hall, and the room fell into a stunned silence. Conversations died mid-sentence, glasses paused halfway to lips, and the laughter that had once dominated these gatherings seemed to vanish. She moved gracefully through the crowd, her eyes locking briefly with people who had tormented her in the past. Some shifted uncomfortably, fidgeting with old insecurities that had never truly gone away. From one corner, a group of former popular students whispered nervously, trying to mask their surprise with forced laughter. "Did you see the helicopter?" One muttered, voice shaky. Another added, She looks completely different. What is she planning?" Their bravado felt hollow now, replaced with the subtle fear of being confronted by someone they had underestimated. Meanwhile, a few classmates who had been genuinely kind to her in the past exchanged looks of admiration and curiosity. They remembered her differently, intelligent, creative, driven, but they had never known the full story. Little did they realize, her rise wasn't just luck. It was the result of years of determination, secret achievements, and a refusal to let the past define her. As she approached the center of the room, all eyes followed, wondering silently what she would say or do. Would this be a quiet triumph, a bold statement, or a confrontation none of them expected? The tension thickened, every heartbeat echoing the question that hung over the reunion, like a storm waiting to break. She paused in the center of the room, letting the weight of her presence sink in. The old classmates, once so confident in their teasing and whispers, now felt a strange mix of guilt, curiosity, and fear. Some tried to smile, to act casual, but it came across as forced, brittle. The air was thick with tension, each person silently asking themselves how they had underestimated her for so long. Her eyes scanned the crowd, lingering on the few who had been the loudest in their ridicule. She didn't rush, didn't speak immediately. Every second felt like an eternity, as whispers swirled. Is she really here to mock us back? Or is this something else? Even those who had forgotten the old insults felt a shiver of anticipation, sensing that something significant was about to unfold. From the corner of the room, one of her former tormentors tried to step forward, voice quivering. "We didn't think you'd actually come." A laugh that once held arrogance now sounded hollow. She tilted her head slightly, a small smile tugging at her lips, part amusement, part something sharper, harder to read. Every eye was on her, every mind racing. The suspense was unbearable. No one knew if she would speak, reveal a secret, or let them stew in their own anxiety. Every heartbeat seemed louder, every breath tighter, as the reunion teetered on the edge of a moment that could change everything. Just as the tension in the room seemed unbearable, the sound of her phone buzzing cut through the silence. She glanced at the screen, and a knowing smile spread across her face. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. What could possibly be happening now? No one had expected this. Before anyone could react, she held up the phone, and a video played on the large screen behind her. It was footage of the reunion venue from earlier that day, showing certain classmates, those who had mocked her mercilessly, making secret bets about her arrival. The evidence was clear. They had planned to humiliate her, thinking she would never rise above the class loser label. Gasps filled the room as the reality hit them. The whispers turned into uneasy silence. Some faces paled, while others tried to laugh nervously, but it was gone replaced with a growing sense of dread. She didn't say a word, letting the revelation speak for itself. Every eye now held a mix of shock and guilt, the balance of power shifting entirely, and just when it seemed the tension couldn't rise any higher, another unexpected sound echoed from outside the hall. A second helicopter landing on the lawn. Every heartbeat in the room skipped. What could this mean? Who or what was arriving now? The crowd held its breath, knowing the night was far from over, and that the real confrontation was about to begin. The doors of the second helicopter swung open, and a figure stepped out, instantly drawing every eye. It was her, a twin sister no one in the class had ever known existed. She had been working behind the scenes for years, quietly supporting and amplifying her sister's success. Together, they had orchestrated this reunion not just as a statement, but as a revelation of how far the class loser had truly come. The first sister spoke, her voice calm but commanding. You all thought you could define me, mock me, and keep me small. But 10 years of growth, hard work, and determination have made that impossible. She paused, letting the words sink in. Faces in the crowd shifted from disbelief to shame, some struggling to meet her gaze. She had turned their own cruelty into a mirror, showing them exactly how hollow their triumphs over her had seemed. Then the second sister stepped forward, revealing yet another surprise, a charity and business venture that had quietly changed thousands of lives. With her as the lead, the revelation hit the class like a thunderclap. Everything they thought they knew about success, power, and influence was being rewritten before their eyes. As the reunion hall filled with awe, the sisters exchanged a glance, subtle but charged with triumph. Just when it seemed the story had reached its peak, a final text lit up the first sister's phone. She glanced at it, smirked, and whispered, "The real game is just beginning." Every eye turned to her once more, and the room held its breath. Knowing that this night their reckoning was far from over, the room slowly began to breathe again, the tension easing as the sisters stood together, a powerful reminder of resilience and transformation. Former classmates who had once laughed at her now faced a mix of regret and admiration. Many realized that the class loser they had mocked was not defined by their cruelty but by her own determination, intelligence, and courage. Some approached hesitantly, offering apologies that were genuine, while others simply watched, silently acknowledging the truth they had ignored for years. The sisters accepted the apologies with grace, showing that success was not just about triumph, but about rising above pettiness. The helicopters outside, symbols of ambition and achievement, remained as a quiet reminder of how far she had come. By the end of the night, laughter returned to the hall, but this time it was lighter, warmer, and shared among everyone. Old grudges were softened, and new respect took their place. The sisters had not only reclaimed their dignity, but had also inspired everyone present to reflect on the power of perseverance, kindness, and believing in oneself. As the reunion ended and the crowd dispersed, many would remember this night not for the teasing or the past but for the unforgettable lesson. Never underestimate someone who has been quietly building their future, and in that, the class loser had truly won.